and see what these guys can come up with. Spawning over here in the bottom right-hand side, a very strong European Terran, known for mixing it up with cheese, but also capable of producing some stunning macro games. In that first game, we saw a proxy Marauder rush gone bad. What will he do here in game number 2? It is, of course, Fuzer. And his opponent, in the top left position, one of the UK's strongest Terran players, very highly ranked GM. What can he do here? Can he close it out 2-0, or will his opponent drag it back, kicking and screaming to 1-0? We'll find out in just a moment, because it is Lau. Now, I do have to say, the end of that game number 1 was a little bit of a train wreck. At the end of the day, as long as you control well, 13 tanks versus 0 tends to mean a pretty decent advantage for the side that happens to be using those tanks. But Fuzer, of course, always had the opportunity to maybe try and catch those tanks out of position. If he even gets something like 8 Marauders in and picks apart a lot of those tanks, he could have had a decent shot. Lau, of course, was ahead for most of that game, though, and I don't think we should discount that at all. As we do see a gas first build coming out of Lau, as well as a gas build coming out of Fuzer as well, looking like he went for the barracks and then the gas. So not quite the kind of build that we see coming out from Lau at the moment, who's only just starting his barracks now because he really went for that very, very early refinery. But Lau just going to be annoying with an SCV here, sees that Fuzer has done something fairly normal. So let's see what these guys end up choosing in game number 2. Fuzer building, of course, his first racks in his main base, not opting to... whoa, what is this? Oh, right, not actually opting to proxy the racks anywhere, even though it's on Ohana, and proxies are sometimes quite useful on Ohana. He's actually going to be stealing a gas from Lau, and guys, I'm going to be perfectly honest here. I don't remember the last time I saw a gas steal in a TVT, okay? It's just not something I see. But, interesting stuff coming out of him. Obviously doesn't want Lau to get super early gas or anything. I'm just going to check the vision of that gas geyser, and no, Fuzer does not see that the factory is going down. And the first Marine from Lau will be able to go out and to pick that out. He doesn't even, in fact, see the add-on. He only knows that the barracks is there, but he hasn't seen the add-on on the barracks as well. So he doesn't know that Lau is, in fact, going for a quick tech lab. And Fuzer's going to be able to cancel that and get a bunch of minerals back, 57 to be precise out of 75, so losing a minimum amount there. And he's really used this to go for a reasonably greedy follow-up here. Lau saw the gas and is thinking, oh, hang on a second, are you going to go do something greedy? Sorry, are you going to go do something with early aggression? And Fuzer's actually sitting back and saying, you know what? No, I'm not. What I'm going to do is go for a modified 1-racks expand, where I happen to have my reactor on my barracks so I can produce more Marines. It means he gets those Marines at a little bit of a later timing, so it would have been susceptible to some sort of really, really quick rush from Lau, but he stole the gas, and he also saw Lau's build, and he knows that Lau wasn't going to attack him early on. So Fuzer has transitioned into something that I would describe here as being fairly risk-free, because he knows that Lau was going to go tech reasonably quickly, so he stole the gas, knew that Lau wanted to grab that second gas, and used the opportunity to try and get as much out of that economy as possible. An interesting thing coming out here from Lau, guys. We don't see Banshees coming out of him. He built the starport, then built the tech lab on the starport, and flew the starport away so he can get quick siege mode. Instead, he's going to be going for Vikings. So Marine siege tank with a couple of Vikings are the order of the day for him here. So Fuzer at the moment is going to be sitting pretty on 2 bases, but Lau mixing up his composition this time around as well, and he's actually getting Hellions, which aren't going to be that great against potential siege tanks coming out from Lau. And Fuzer's actually getting Vikings of his own. And a scan goes down, he sees absolutely everything. He goes, oh, hang on a second, that's a factory with a tech lab, that's a barracks with a reactor, and that's a starport with nothing. So I can conclude Marines, siege tanks, Vikings coming out of you at this moment in time. And we can see Fuzer still continuing to go with those Hellions. Let's see if he ends up switching it up in just a moment. Only on 1 refinery at the moment, of course, because he's trying to get more work, because he's actually already up 28 to 25 over Lau. And he has a second orbital command building of those SCVs as well. So he's going to have a decent amount of income off of this. If we take a look at Lau's vision for just a second, He scouted effectively nothing since that initial SCV scout, so he has no clue that the command center has gone down, and Fuzer just came at his one Hellion with a decent number of units too, so Lau might think this is one base play, but it's actually two base play. I wonder if this is really going to hurt Lau in the long term. We'll find out in just a mo, as Lau unfortunately supply blocking himself just a bit there, and he's going to be putting a missile turret down in case Banshees are incoming as well, but no such luck. Fuse is just continuing to mac her up, and he's actually looking in a pretty decent position here in game number 2. Really interesting stuff coming out here, and a second factory coming out from Fuzer, so he's going to be going for a more mech-based composition, and there we go. That's the scan that lets Lau know, ooh, hang on a second. That base looks like it's been mining for a while. Oh dear, what has happened? And I think this is going to prompt Lau into doing some sort of soft push-out with his siege tanks. He doesn't want to lead the army with them, though. I'm not sure why he's doing that. The siege tanks are in the front, and that means that they might actually get picked off. He needs to be careful, but as long as he gets them siege in good positions, he's going to have such a good engagement against Fuzer at this moment in time. And Fuzer moving straight forward towards the watchtower, trying to catch Lau as off guard as possible. And Lau starting to creep forward with his siege tanks. There's 3 siege tanks to 0 at the moment. And this is going to be such a hard position for Fuzer to hold, but he is on a better economy. Let's see if he can do it. 1 tank in siege and 2 in pong-pong mode. And we have the Vikings landing for both players here, but it looks like, wow, Lau actually picking apart so much, but Fuzer, with those Hellions, picking apart all of the bio from Lau, and Lau, as a result, is down to 44 supply versus 69. Here comes Fuzer with his SCVs. I'm not sure this was necessary at this point of the game, but that's what's going to happen here. The siege tanks get surrounded by SCVs even, and Fuzer actually completely demolishing that attack from Lau. SCVs might not have even been required, but they certainly helped a lot there, so I'm going to reserve judgment. It could have happened either way, and Fuzer just wanted to be safe. And now, because Fuzer was on a 2-base economy for so long, he's up to 71 supply versus 36. This is looking really, really good for Fuzer. And now the Hellions are going to see that the main base is walled off, but it's walled off with a total of 3 supply depots and 2 Marines. It's not like he has too much to worry about right now. And he's actually moving up with those Hellions, going to continue destroying these Marines here. And Lau is having to find himself in a very, very difficult situation. The supply depot goes down, and Fuzer now has free reign off the main base. Are we going to see SCVs being roasted? Yes, we are. GG from Lau. Fuzer with the Mana Mule, and he levels it up 1-all.